98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98FM.
Next on the programme, a story that everybody is talking about and how it is literally shaking the country, particularly South Dublin and North Wicklow. The story of Justine Valdez and the events that unfolded since she was abducted on Saturday evening. Yesterday evening, you will have heard Gardaí shot dead the man who was being hunted over the disappearance of the woman from Enniskerry. 98FM reporter Stephanie Grogan has been all over this story and has been all over South Dublin and North Wicklow. And in fact, at this moment, she is in Enniskerry in County Wicklow. Stephanie, welcome to the programme.
Morning, Adrian.
Take us through a timeline of events here, Stephanie, as to what actually happened here. This woman, we believe, was bundled into a car, literally, on Saturday evening in Enniskerry.
Yeah, I think a timeline's a good idea because you kind of have to start from the beginning and then it escalates incredibly quickly. And even this morning, there's breaking developments in the past hour. But I'll just take you back to the beginning. So, 6:15. Justine Valdez, 24-year-old student, originally from the Philippines, and she's walking home from to her home in Enniskerry, where I am at the moment. Now, as she's walking home, a black Nissan Qashqai approaches her. A woman happens to be driving by, and she sees Miss Valdez being bundled into the boot of the car. Now, this is about 6:15. The woman immediately contacts Gardaí. They go down to the scene, they seal it off. But at this stage, it's just a patrol car. 5 hours later, at about 11:30, Ms. Valdez's parents ring the Gardaí. They say their daughter hasn't been in contact. She was particularly always in contact with her mum on Facebook. So they're very worried about her and she hasn't been in contact. So the dots are joined at this stage and they know who the woman abducted is, and it's Justine Valdez. So they go back the following morning. They search the site and they found her phone. And then a massive appeal goes out for this Nissan Qashqai 171D20419. And the public were told don't approach the driver of it, and this is what they were searching for. Then that car was seen last night in Cherrywood in Dublin, a real industrial area. And Gardaí went to the area. They found the driver, a man in his 40s named Mark Hennessy. They say he was armed with a knife, and they shot him dead. And that's where we're at the moment. And
do we have any idea, have the Gardaí indicated at all as to why he was shot dead? I understand he was armed with a knife, but was he threatening a guard or was a guard at risk?
Gardaí have really, really close rank over this, and anyone I've spoken to, they've actually been shook by it and that they don't want to talk, and they just keep saying, it's gone to GSOC, the guard, the watchdog, will investigate. I mean, the guard didn't actually even confirm that this man died. They just kept referring us to GSOC and they said that's who's investigating it now. Apparently threats were made and he had a knife. And this was the man, Mark Hennessy, that was suspected to be involved in the abduction of Miss Valdez. So for whatever reason, and I have been online myself, Adrian, this morning, so I've seen everyone commenting on it, but I guess if none of us were there and we don't know what happened in the heat of the hunt. But unfortunately...
it does seem very peculiar that they haven't said at all why he was shot dead.
I guess they can't, because the rule is it goes to GSOC, which is the guard, the watchdog, and the guards aren't allowed comments. Now, GSOC have said to me they're hoping to issue a more detailed statement later on today.
Okay, so hopefully we'll learn...
Because I really know everyone's talking about it and everyone wants to know about it. So I think they're hopefully going to respond to that. But I know there's a bit of a concern that everyone's so focused with that. And understandably, I do understand that, but that there's still a massive hunt to try find, Justine
this young woman, yeah.
So let's not forget that. And
okay, two things I want to just ask you. Firstly, you say the search is going on. Where is that search focused on?
Yeah, so there was a breaking development within the past hour, and we're now learning that the search is intensifying in the Cloney Hill, Michael area of Dublin. So I'm in Enniskerry right now. I reckon that's about, maybe 15, 20 minutes away. Not too far from Cherrywood either, so it is a kind of triangle of a certain area. So whatever has led them there, I don't know if they were looking at his phone or maybe someone said they saw the Qashqai car there at some stage. Something has led them there. and the army are there at the moment, the civil defence are there.
Okay, and that's where the search is focused at this moment.
So maybe we might get a development.
And finally, and very briefly, Stephanie, I'm very conscious that this man is a father of two, we understand, from Bray in County Wicklow. Do we know anything else about him?
Nothing. Now I'm trying to find out information. All I know, and I did learn that last night, because that was my first question, like, is there a connection here? What's the link between the two? There's absolutely no link between the two. Miss Valdez does not know him, as far as Gardaí are aware, and he does not know her. So there's, and he is a suspect, I'll add, at this stage. But they don't know what the link is. He's a married father of two. He was, I think, told his wife he was going out with his friends. So, like, so many questions here, Adrian, and unfortunately the man who could possibly answer them is dead.
All right, 98FM reporter Stephanie Grogan, thanks very much indeed for joining us on the programme live from Enniskerry in County Wicklow. As we said, it's the topic that everybody is talking about, and I know you want to talk about it. Call us right now on 6797 981. Eddie, you are sick of all the keyboard warriors speaking out about this.
Oh, Adrian, look, you can't form an opinion on anything in life until the details are released.
Correct,
it's simple as that. You know what I mean? And people are going, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But he's a highly trained guard who, before charging a firearm, I mean, they're probably told to use every other alternative. You know what I mean? We don't know the situation he was put in. However, if it comes out that he did shoot him in the head, that's what some people are saying, I find that a bit odd, because that'd be probably the smallest part of the body to hit. So, in a way, you start to think, if you a firearm, you're probably going to have to be up close to hit somebody. But again, we don't know yet, you know what I mean? But, however, remember last month when that chap got beaten up, the other guard, with a baseball bat? Yes. If ever there was a law to bring in now, or to exchange, to get tasers, this is it. You know what I mean? This is it. Because had they been able to tase him, he would have been brought around by now and would have been interrogated. Now, possibly, this girl's probably already been murdered, but well, that's speculation. The crux. We would have got to the crux of whatever's going on quicker. You know what I mean?
Well, the Gardaí say that they are very concerned for her well-being, and I think that's probably an understatement. But we don't know.
We don't know, but it's not looking good. You know what I mean? Because she's what age is she? 24.
Sorry, say that again. She's 24.
24. Yep. So the only two scenarios is he's either killed her or being a builder, he's locked her away somewhere on a site where she can't. Or he's at 24 years of age. She would have found her way to safety by now and talked to somebody. You know? So they're really only the two scenarios you have. But all these people coming out, shoulda, woulda, shoulda done this, shoulda done that. I mean, these guys are highly trained. You know what I mean? And it's not just that. The last thing the guard would want to do is to shoot someone, because he's probably going to have counselling after that. You know what I mean? To take someone's life is not an easy thing. So nobody's a winner here, you know? But all these idiots online, should have done this, should have done that. Until the details are released, you can't form an opinion on anything.
I agree with you 100%, I have to say. I do find it a little bit odd, though, that with all the speculation, why nothing has been said. And literally all we know about the shooting dead of this man is that he had a knife. And that makes you kind of think, well, Jesus, a knife versus a whole load of armed Gardaí doesn't seem much of a threat. But, as you said, we don't know the exact circumstances until we're told.
Maybe he had that knife concealed and the guard got up close and personal to kind of talk to him, and he pulled it out and went for him, and the guard just, a quick reaction, went to protect himself. You just don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know how close he was to the actual chap when he shot him. Was he 2 feet away? Was he in his person? Was he right beside him? Was he 10 feet away? You haven't got a clue. There's so many different scenarios that you could go through. Well, again, until you find out and you release a statement and say, this is what happened, and the Garda Commissioner or whatever, or whoever deals with it, investigates it, who are we? We're not, it's just the Facebook police again out in force, you know?
Like I said, I agree. I just find it a little bit odd that nothing has been said, and we'll hopefully hear something with more specific information as to what actually happened at some stage today, because I think it adds to suspicion the longer it is kept under wraps. I want to go out live to Killiney Hill now. As we said, this is a continuing breaking story in the search for this missing 24-year-old IT student Justine Valdez. Sunday World crime correspondent Nicola Tallant is at Killiney Hill, where a search has been taking place. Nicola, welcome to 98 FM.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing? I was actually there a little bit earlier today, where there was obviously searches going on early this morning. A part of the hill was cordoned off, but the crime scene tape was removed from it at about 10 o'clock this morning. Now, there was similar guard activity down around Killiney Dart Station this morning and along the beach. So, their areas, obviously the car was concentrated around the Dalkey Killiney area yesterday. So those areas are kind of obvious places to search, I presume, for the guards. I think that they have moved on to searching around the Rathmichael area now again, which would be, would have areas of isolated woodlands and that kind of thing. So, there's still no trace of her since she was seen being abducted on Saturday night. So as time goes on, concerns are growing really.
Absolutely. I mean, I know one Garda spokesperson said it would be an understatement to say Garda are concerned for her safety. And
yeah, completely. Yeah. I mean, to be taken in that fashion, and obviously Mark Hennessy was, whatever was going on with him, it was not something that was usual for him, any kind of behaviour like this. He certainly wasn't known to the guards or known to be, sort of coming off the rails, I suppose, like this. But he was clearly in a state of mind that would be very concerning. And when he was shot last night at Cherrywood, he was in possession of a weapon himself. So, yeah, I mean, I think...
our understanding is that weapon was a knife, is that right?
Yes, it was a knife, yeah. Now, reports last night were suggesting that he had either attacked or was threatening some of the first responders there, which I believe were Garda traffic officers. So that would be, why. I don't really want to speculate exactly on what happened, because when there's a shooting incident like that, obviously every second of the run up to it will be investigated by the Ombudsman. But guards are trained with weapons, and they will only use them when there's a threat to life. So we can presume that was a situation that was going on,
This man himself, all we seem to know about him is he lived in Bray in County Wicklow. He's originally from Ballybrack. He's 40 and he's a father of two. Do we know anything else?
Other than he's working in the construction industry, and his wife is Welsh, and that's really all I know. I think he grew up in the Ballybrack area, but as I said, he's never come to attention of the guards before. He's a couple of very minor convictions for road traffic and that kind of thing, but nothing, he hasn't come to the attention for any particular reason. So it's a very sort of bizarre and rare situation. You'll get a stranger abduction, and I suppose it's coming on foot of the case of Anna Kriegel, which again is a very, very rare crime. You don't see these kind of things happening. It's coincidence, obviously, that
we've had two in a week. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, but the search now focused on the Rathmichael area as we speak.
And, I mean, what they're doing is they're just trying to ping his phone to see where the phone was pinging up, and obviously finding areas to search, while also still desperately looking for information from the public about that car, where it was and where there may have been sightings of him. The last known sighting of her appears to have been on the Saturday night as he drove away with her in the car. So while there was a few sightings of him in the Killiney-Dalkey area yesterday, there was no sighting of her. So that would mean she's not been seen alive at all.
But I believe there was evidence from the car. There was evidence from that car that she had been in that car.
Well, I don't know. You've probably heard that elsewhere. I'm sure that's correct, because she got on the bus in Bray at 5 o'clock on Saturday evening to go home from work, and around the same time he left the house in Bray, telling his wife he was going out with his friends for the night in his wife's car. And when she disembarked the bus in Enniskerry after 6 o'clock, that's when there's the witness sees a girl fitting her description being dragged into this Nissan Qashqai. Now, the guards didn't search that area until the following morning, 6 a.m. the following morning. Her mobile phone and handbag was found there. So she has had no phone with her, but he certainly has, and they're checking those masks the way they can the phone will ping, and also trying to trace between CCTV and witness statements, trying to basically track his movements, But I think the investigation isn't going too much further than South Dublin, and for the moment,
No, it could be because it would appear quite unlikely that he would have managed to get much further.
He didn't appear to go much further. I mean, obviously, when he left Enniskerry, there's a variety of places there. He could have, you can be very rural and very isolated very quickly, really, from Enniskerry, if you know your way around, which I'm sure he did, being from Bray. But there doesn't seem to be much, well, not that we're hearing concentration in the Wicklow area. It just seems to be all around South County Dublin now for the moment. So
all right,
we've got to find her, and I'm sure, I wouldn't hold out a huge amount of hope given the circumstances of her disappearing like that.
Yeah. All right, well, Nicola Talon from the Sunday World, thanks very much indeed for joining us on 98 FM. And that search, as we said, is now focused on the Rathmichael area of South Dublin in the search for 24-year-old woman Justine Valdez. Now, Monica, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Monica.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks, Monica. What did you want to say on this whole story?
All I can say is I'm 2 years older than that young girl, and when I first found out, the fear was unbelievable. Walking down the street, you don't know what's going to happen. Now, I know everyone's giving out about the guards, but I have a lot of trust in the guard force, and they're only doing their job. They've done it for a reason. We don't know. No one was there except the forces. Do you know what I mean? We don't know what's going to happen. But in my opinion, they've done it for a reason, and I do feel a lot safer now going out and about.
Yeah, and I think people, I can understand why you might. And I agree with you. I think it is wrong of people to be speculating as to why he was shot dead.
Of course,
we understand he was shot in the arm and in the head. We also understand confronted officers with a knife, but that's all we know. And until we find the full circumstances as to whether he was actually threatening a guard or whether somebody's life was in danger, I think it is wrong to speculate as to what happened to.
It is, and there's a lot of people. There is a lot of people online saying that they shouldn't have done it, but they weren't there at that time. No one knows what he's actually doing. You know what I mean? So they are speculating, and they shouldn't be doing it. But I know myself now, I do feel a lot safer. Like, obviously no one knows the whole story, but, as a young woman myself, you don't know what's going to happen.
All right. Like I said, I agree that it is wrong of us to be speculating as to what happened. Guards don't just shoot people dead for no reason whatsoever. And I think we need to trust our police force that whatever happened for a particular reason, because obviously it is now much more difficult for the Gardaí to find this woman because their key witness is dead. So I doubt they shot him lightly. That's the point. Thanks, Monica. Regina, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Regina.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Regina, you also believe that people need to stop giving out about the Gardaí.
I do. I think they should need to just take a step back and not give too much judgment on what they're doing, because we weren't there. We don't know the circumstances of what happened. Like Eddie and the girl Monica said there, we just don't know what's going on. So you have to just not judge, just wait and see, get the facts, and then we can all have our opinions.
I agree, and it is a shocking story from start to finish. From this woman being bundled into the boot of a car on Saturday evening to this guy being shot dead just over 24 hours later. It's such a strange story.
It's horrendous. It is. It's horrendous. But as I said, we don't know the circumstances. We don't know what happened leading up to this. Was it his mind? We just don't know anything that happened. We're out there. People are giving, they shouldn't have done this, they shouldn't that. Like, these are trained professionals. They know what they're doing. They're not going to go out and shoot someone for no reason. Do you know what I mean? I think there's facts there that people just don't know. So they should really just stop giving the guards such a hard time. Because personally, myself, I'm kind of like that girl said, that feels a lot more confident, a lot more safe for walking.
All right. Niall, welcome to 98 FM.
Hello, Adrian.
Niall, you are particularly critical and angry over what some people have been saying on social media with regard to this shooting.
I wouldn't say I'm angry now, Adrian. I think I'm just kind of exasperated by the absolute level of nonsense and complete ignorance shown by an awful lot of commenters on social media. I'm the crime reporter for the Irish Mirror and also Dublin Live, which is a kind of an offshoot website that's run by the Irish Mirror. But I was reporting all day yesterday, my role as a crime reporter, in Bray and in the general kind of Shankill area and Killiney and all that. But I was posting yesterday, trying to get the message out to try and see if do my job as a reporter, get this message out that this lady was outstanding. She still hadn't been found, and this man was on the go around the place. And the Gardaí had asked the reporters to help them to get this out there. I have a few followers on Twitter, so I said I'd use that. But so I reported when it happened because I just by pure fluke I happened to be fairly close to where the shooting happened, and I did my job as a reporter, reported it, and then all of a sudden you had all these people coming out of the woodwork with their 5 followers telling the world and its mother that, well, the guard should have done this, the guard should have done that, and it amazes me how ignorant people of a particular subject can talk on a subject, right, without any basic experience or knowledge in that subject. It just, there's an old saying, you're not entitled to an opinion, you're entitled to an informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. But at what point did those people that comment in these situations not understand that, And it just amazed me, really, the level of ignorance. It's like, ultimately, policing is a profession. You go, and I was a member of An Garda Síochána. I underwent training and constant training in the job in relation to tactics and other things like that. And the other thing, the ultimate experience I have as a police officer, is that things happen in seconds, sometimes even milliseconds, and that decision will live with you for the rest of your life. And there's a detective at this very moment somewhere in Dublin sitting there, I'm sure, second guessing what happened last night. And the only people that matter in this instance, their opinion that matters, is the GSOC investigators and those who are investigating for the coroner's report.
Now, as a matter of interest, Niall, would it be unusual for it to apparently take so long to clarify the circumstances of that shooting? I think people are bemused by the lack of information.
Oh, sure, you've been around an awful long time around journalism now, Adrian, and I'm sure you're aware that, Ireland official Ireland is not an easy place to get information from. We've also, so what I would say is that of course it's incumbent on the guards and GSOC maybe to come here now and present their evidence, but the way they view it is that their ultimate arbiter of fact is a courtroom, or for that matter, the file that goes to DPP or whatever, right? I'm not saying that there'll be a file going to DPP in this, but that's the way official Ireland sees it. So then it's up to reporters like myself to get a grasp on what might have happened. There's plenty of stories going around, but what we know for a fact is that this man was armed with a knife, and for whatever reason, the Gardaí had to use force to bring that to an end. They are the absolute confirmed facts.
And anything after that is pure speculation. So for people who, in fact, I'm about to go to a call who's critical of the Gardaí for taking so long to actually get this investigation underway.
See, this is ridiculous, right? This is absolutely ridiculous. What you had was an incident on Saturday at 6:15 p.m., right? And I don't want to labour this point now, okay? But 6:15 p.m. there was a woman and her two teenage children observed something happening up in Enniskerry. Gardaí responded to that incident from Bray. And then there was a second call, an hour after actually it happened, but this male driver rang in and said, I saw something very suspicious. There is an Asian-looking lady trying to get out of a car on the M50 or the N11, right? And then time passed by, Gardaí responded to that. They didn't know what they were dealing with. And then later at 11:30 on Saturday night, this woman's family went in and reported her missing. And that's the point when this operation began immediately. Do people not understand the huge amount of geography that needs to be covered by this? We have a police force in this country that has been absolutely, utterly decimated by government cuts. We do not have enough guards. Do people expect that there's a guard in every single corner? Now, I've been screaming and roaring about this for the last 5 years since I left the guards. And nobody seems to be listening that this is the situation in Ireland. We simply do not have enough Gardaí. So what these people need to take an old deep breath occasionally, maybe, and think before they talk, because all they're showing ultimately is an utter, absolute ignorance of the reality of what's going on the ground.
All right, well, as we said, we look forward to finding out more information on the circumstances surrounding the shooting dead of this man. And I am very conscious as well that this man is a father of two. So this affects not only Ms. Valdez's family, but also his own family, who I'm sure had no idea what he was up to. All right, Niall O'Connor, crime reporter with the Irish Mirror. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Adrian, before I go, I just want to say this as well.
Niall, yep.
171D, okay? It's a black Qashqai. It was going around the general Wicklow, North Wicklow, South Dublin area yesterday. If anybody in Dublin saw that vehicle yesterday and haven't contacted the Gardaí, they need to ring them now, because this is a matter of life and death. That woman could still be alive out there somewhere, and they need to do their duty as a citizen of this city and report it.
Okay, this particular Qashqai is 171D, 20419 is the full registration of it. If you saw it around the Dunleary, Dalkey, Killiney, Bray, Enniskerry area over that 24-hour period, yes, indeed, please do get in touch with the Gardaí. Niall O'Connor, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me just bring in one last call. Carol, you're on 98FM. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
What's your problem with this case? And especially having listened to what Niall O'Connor had to say.
Yeah, no, I tell you the problem I have with it. That girl was seen on Saturday evening being bundled into that car, and the guards went up and checked out and obviously went off and done their business. And then yesterday morning, they decided to go back up and found her handbag and her phone. Now, if they had found that at the beginning, done a thorough search, and maybe on Saturday evening put out a call on the news or from Facebook and said, look, told the story about the girl being put into the car, could they have set up roadblocks and people keep their eye out for the car at that stage?
Well, as you heard from Paul a moment ago, initially they didn't know what they were dealing with. And a lot of people have been critical of how it would appear slow to... Gardaí received a report of a woman in distress in a car in Dalkey at 7 o'clock. It's at 6:15, a woman matching this lady's description was seen being bundled into the back of the car with a 171D reg. And then at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, the Gardaí, a search party found her mobile phone and some other personal belongings, including a bag near where she was abducted. But your point is, had they gone and searched that area
on Saturday when
evening?
It happened,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. To give people on Saturday evening and let people know on Saturday evening, there might have been some chance. Or set up roadblocks, you know what I mean? They knew, well, did they know the car on Saturday? Did they know the make of the car? They may not have had a reg, but did they know the make of the car? I mean, I didn't hear it till yesterday morning.
Oh no,
a lot of people didn't.
All they issued on Saturday, all they knew on Saturday was that it was a Nissan Qashqai with a 171D reg. They subsequently, only at 20 to 5 yesterday, issued the full reg plate number when they found out exactly what car it was. And there's a lot of 170 Nissan Qashqais driving around.
I know, there's a whole lot of Qashqais. Yeah. They're everywhere. But even just to set up a roadblock, I mean, it wouldn't have around that area. You know what I mean? Because that's basically, by the sound of things, that's where he was heading. You know, around the South Dublin area.
As I said, it's a story that not only involves this man, this abductor, this woman, but also their families.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98FM.